Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and online violin tutor. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 3 things guaranteed to improve your violin playing. But before we get into the video, I just want to say hello and welcome to all of my new subscribers out there, and quickly let you know about my 1 to 30 violin course, which is an amazing online course that I know a lot of you have no idea that I have. So maybe you've just started the violin or you're looking for a course, then this is going to be the one for you. So my 1 to 30 violin course is a fully comprehensive and professional course that guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to an accomplished intermediate level by the end of it. The course is very simple and easy to understand without the commitment of an in-person tutor, but it does guarantee to give you the same level of skill that you would get from a private tutor. The course has been designed so that anyone of any age and any level can follow it. The lessons and videos are super easy to follow, and absolutely no prior knowledge of any instrument or music is needed to start this course. The course is going to cover everything from how to hold the violin, how to hold the bow, how to read music. There's going to be some technical exercises in there to prove your skill and dexterity, music theory, bowing techniques, more complex pieces, and just much more. There's no other course like this available on the internet, and the results and reviews absolutely speak for themselves. My course will take you from this to this. The course is fully downloadable, is available worldwide, and you can purchase from my shop, www.amsmusicshop.com. It is $59.99 US, and you can get started straight away. I should add in that these books are 100% downloadable, so there is nothing physical that will be shipped out to you. So all you're going to need is your violin and bow and your enthusiasm to get started. I'd also just like to quickly mention as well about my 2 subscription websites. I've got a Patreon one, and I've got my own one, online violin tutor.com. Both of them are exactly the same. They're just subscription websites, $10 monthly, but they give you access to my complete back catalogue of violin sheet music. There's some violin cover pieces in there as well. There's a little bit of easy piano music. There's some violin backing tracks. There's a couple of other bits and bobs as well. It's a $10 monthly subscription, but the catalogue is added to on a monthly basis. And off the top of my head, there are, I think, just over 800 sheets of easy violin sheet music that you can quickly gain access to. But it's either or, so don't subscribe. There's no need to subscribe to both of them. Either subscribe to my Patreon, either subscribe to my website. All the details will be underneath this video for you. Okay, the first thing that is going to guarantee to improve your playing is to make sure that you are holding the violin and the bow correctly. Now, I have more detailed videos on how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with that, but suffice to say that you need to make sure the violin is on your shoulder and it is out at about somewhere between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. So think of your clock. It's obviously going to be the reverse that you're watching in this video, but if I've got 12 o'clock in front of me, 11 o'clock to the left, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and so on. So we don't want to be out at 12, we don't want to be out at 9, we want to be somewhere around, or somewhere between 10 and 11. I think 11 is too close to 12, 10 is a little bit far out to the side, so somewhere in between 10 and 11, 10:30 if you want to be a little bit more precise. So we want to have the violin out there sitting on our shoulder. It's up to you if you want to use a shoulder rest or a cloth, something like that. And then we want to make sure that we are holding the bow correctly. Now, I will link to some specific in detail videos on how to hold the bow and how to hold the violin, but you just need to make sure that you are holding your violin and your bow correctly and they're in the right place like this, and you're bowing correctly, then it's going to instantly improve your playing. So basically your posture and how you're holding the violin is right at the top of that pyramid. If you don't get that right, everything else from then on is just going to be a disaster. It's going to be wrong, and you're not going to understand why. So making sure that you are holding your violin, your bow correctly is going to instantly improve your playing. But maybe you've been playing for a little while, it doesn't hurt to just go back over and just make sure that your posture is exactly as it should be. The second thing that's guaranteed to improve your playing is to maximize your practice sessions. So first off, you need to be making sure that you're practicing every day and for at least 30 minutes. So if you're a beginner, for example, then I think about 30 minutes is about right. If you're following my course, I'd say for about the first 10 lessons, you're going to be practicing for anywhere between sort of 30 minutes and 45 minutes as you're going on. That obviously doesn't count for lessons 1 to 4, where this, it's more kind of introduction, theoretical kind of knowledge about the violin. But as you kind of move from lesson 5 and upwards, your playing time is going to be increasing because it's going to be cumulative. So after you've done the open string exercises on lesson 5 and you move on to lesson 6, which is open string notes and first finger notes, you're going to be playing going to be practicing the 5 exercises from lesson 6, in addition to the 5 exercises still in lesson 5, to make sure that what you're doing from lesson 5 is absolutely correct with the knowledge that you've now gained from lesson 6 and lesson 7 and 8 and so on. So making sure that you're practicing properly is going to improve your playing. So making sure that you're playing every day, making sure you're playing for a good amount of time, but also what you are specifically doing in those practice sessions. So, for example, just playing through an exercise once is, in my opinion, not practice. It's called a complete waste of time. You may as well not have bothered. A practice session to me is, at the end of it, you are better than you were when you started, or at the end of it, you have accomplished or achieved something that you could not do when you first started. However long that takes to get between A and B is what it is. If that takes you 2 hours to do that, it takes you 2 hours to do that. If you have to break that 2 hours up into 2 hourly sessions, absolutely break that up into 2 hourly sessions. But just playing through things once, twice, 3 times is not good enough. You need to focus on things. You need to slow down your playing. You need to repeat every single bar 6 to 12 times. Then you need to play the first and the second bar, or first and the second measure together 6 to 12 times. Then you need to add on the third measure or third bar and play bars 1 to 3 6 to 12 times, and so on, that kind of thing. And it sounds useless and a bit maybe pedantic, but it's called focused practicing, and it is what's going to give you that muscle memory. It's what's going to make you improve. By the time you get to bar 10 or measure 10, you're going to have played bar 1 or measure 1 100 times, and then bar 2 or measure 2 another 100 times. So you see how then the practicing becomes a lot more focused. If you think that playing it, adding on measure by measure, is just a little bit too much for you, then maybe do it 4 bars at a time or 4 measures at a time. So you could play the first line 6 to 12 times through, and then you could play the second line 6 to 12 times through. Then you play the first and the second line 6 to 12 times through. I used to do things like that, and then if I made a mistake, I would have to start the whole thing all over again, which is a pretty good incentive to not try and make any mistakes. But overall, I guarantee That will absolutely improve your playing. And is it frustrating? Absolutely. Is it annoying? Absolutely. Do I hate every second of doing it? Absolutely. But will you improve? Yes, absolutely, you will. So that is how you practice. That's how professionals practice, and that's the only way you're going to improve. And playing the lazy way is just to play something through once or twice. That's it. Boom, done. Not practice. When you compare the two, you can then see that, playing the first line 6 to 12 times, adding in the second line 6 to 12 times, you can see that is a lot more pedantic. Therefore, you can see how that practice is a lot more focused, and how you will actually improve, rather than just playing the whole piece through once or twice, putting the violin down, off you go until the next day. Okay, and the third thing that is guaranteed to improve your violin playing is to play scales and exercises, so technical things. You can't just learn everything you need to learn by pieces, because pieces don't contain enough technical work. Pieces are made up of scales and arpeggios. Now, you might not know what those mean at the moment, but when you get on to lesson 11 to 20 in my book 2, for example, I start introducing all those technical things. So I think it starts at lesson 11, you will start learning scales. Scales are so important to do because they're very good for technical exercises, they're very good for muscle memory, finger work, intonation, bowing, loads of good things. It's all, I explain it all in lesson 11 here. So because all pieces, from since the dawn of time, are made up of scales and arpeggios, that's a musical fact. If you can do scales and arpeggios, or as I always say, the better you are at scales and arpeggios, you can play any piece you like. So if you're really good at scales and arpeggios, you'll never have problems playing any other pieces of music, because they are all made up of scales and arpeggios. And there's a few other things as well, like chromatics and chromatic exercises, a couple of other little bits and bobs. But again, part of my course is that I teach that, because if you can do all the technical work, you'll never have problems playing pieces, and you'll learn those pieces a lot more quickly as well. But not only that, it just makes you a lot more of a proficient player, thorough. Everything is just going to be 10 times easier, as opposed to being 10 times harder, because you're not learning the behind the scenes kind of things. So those were just 3 things that were guaranteed to improve your violin playing. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my 1 to 30 violin course, and my Patreon site, and my website subscription site. I will put some more details and links to all of those underneath this video. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.